Hi, Nicholas. So welcome to our booth at Supercomputing 2025. I'm Philip Tamaki from Supermicro, here to show you a little bit of an overview of what we're showcasing this year. Some new systems that we have are based on the NVIDIA HGX B300 platform. So as you can see here, we have a variety of form factors with that GPU. The big benefit of the GPU being the increase in HBM3E capacity, going up from 180 gigabytes from the B200 generation to 288 gigabytes of HBM3E for the B300 generation. In addition, not only has the memory been upgraded, but the networking as well. So when you're scaling to a cluster, which these are designed for, they're fully intended for scalability. Previously, the B200-based systems were relying on ConnectX-8's 400G speeds using single-slot PCIe cards. But now, to bypass the limitations of the PCIe 5.0, NVIDIA has integrated ConnectX-8 NICs into the baseboard of the GPU to deliver up to 800G speeds with Quantum X800 InfiniBand. So this is a great solution for AI training at large scales that require really large pools of coherent memory with really high interconnect speeds.
So each of these is 800?
Yes, that's correct.
So it's not a bottleneck anymore?
It still can be a bottleneck, but not as much of a bottleneck as you would expect. It really depends on the application. But it could be a huge improvement in performance in certain workloads, that's for sure.
What is this one?
This is our air-cooled B300 system. So these are much easier to deploy because you don't require all that liquid cooling infrastructure, like a cooling tower. Of course, you do need a lot of headroom for the air cooling, so there's still a 6U for the GPU tray. Actually, we went a little bit more compact for this generation compared to the previous one, because previously we were utilizing like 500-watt CPUs with the B200 system, and that required a 4-rack unit CPU tray. But now it's leveraging 350-watt AMD EPYC 9004 and 9005 CPUs, or Intel Xeon 6700 series, which has a different smaller socket size compared to the 6900 series. But from what we've seen, there's no drop in performance for AI applications when you do that. So that's the reason why we chose that CPU platform. And then, so like I said earlier, these are like great for your AI training clusters and things like that. But the transition in the industry right now is the fact that a lot of the enterprises are no longer needing to do training of their own AI models. Rather than the resources and the time that it takes to do frontier models, they're taking trained models and trying to get to deliver actual business ROI out of it. And previously, it was really difficult to do unless you had an HGX platform or something like that, or say an OAM platform-based GPU. However, the PCIe GPU system is quite relevant again, because there's GPUs like this NVIDIA RTX PRO 6000 Blackwell Server Edition, which previously, the previous version, L40S, only went up to 48 gigabytes of GDDR7 memory. But now that it goes up to 96 gigabytes of GDDR7, has double the memory bandwidth, 1.6 terabytes per second, with 96 gigabytes of capacity, that's enough to hold like a 76 trillion parameter AI model within the GPU's memory. So it's kind of a nice little thing in terms of you don't need the whole.
You don't need 76 trillion
parameter. Yeah. So a lot of the top leading AI models, LLMs, you could put in one GPU. So you could do like retrieval-augmented generation, where you have like one GPU with the AI model, and then another one that's like doing like a retrieval setup, so with a vector search, or like you simply want to increase like the rollout of your AI service. Then this is it's a more cost-effective way to do it than something that's based on the HGX platform. So
what is this one?
So this is another system that is designed around this NVIDIA RTX PRO 6000 Blackwell Server Edition GPU, but this is based off of NVIDIA's MGX system architecture, and it's with a 4U form factor. So different options. They're both kind of validated to work for our AI factories with NVIDIA. So these are the system building blocks for both like the training and inference. And as you can see here, we kind of created this data center environment where you can walk into, where we are showing some really cool things, like the HGX B300 based racks based on these 4U systems. And this is the first time that we're showing this rack scale solution based on the NVIDIA HGX B300 platform. And we also have the NVIDIA Quantum X800 switch. So as I was telling you earlier when I was showing you the system nodes, these integrated 800G NICs into the GPU baseboard will pair, of course, effectively with a switch that supports an 800G compute fabric. And this features Supermicro's direct liquid cooling. So we have total liquid cooling solutions, including facility-side infrastructure, like a liquid cooling tower. And if you look over here, we also have a kind of a mock-up of a liquid cooling tower. It's actually a meeting room, but yeah, we tried to figure out how do we showcase our kind of data center building block solutions. Room. So actually, yeah, I thought of that. That was my idea, and we did it. And
is it cool in there?
It is cool in there, actually, because we have air conditioning. So, well, I guess a cooling tower is supposed to reject heat to the outside environment, but there's AC in there because, if we're having customer meetings, we want them to stay cool. We want them to be overheated. I think that...
so they stay cool when they sign the contract?
Exactly, yeah, we need to keep them cool. Because, the trade shows can get...
What do we see here?
Yeah, so we can show off some of, like I said, our total liquid cooling solutions. Because Supermicro is a brand that integrates in-house more liquid cooling components than any other of our competitors, including cooling distribution manifolds, CDMs. We have a horizontal cooling distribution manifold. You saw that a lot in our kind of current generation of B200 4U-based racks. But even to get to higher performance density, we also have those vertical cooling distribution manifolds that do not take up horizontal rack units of space. Quick disconnect couplings. Let's see, I'm skip through this a little bit. And then this is a diagram that shows some of the key features of this rack. We ship these fully validated and integrated racks that are good to go. This does speed up the deployment time, including things like an in-rack cooling distribution unit. So this CDU, it's a pump that circulates the coolant to that cooling tower, like I was saying earlier, where it dissipates heat into the outside environment. And then it goes back. It's all within a closed loop. Kind of like if you're familiar with an all-in-one liquid cooler for a desktop PC, it's like that, but on a larger scale. There's a separate source for the plumbing water that gets sprayed onto the coils of the cooling tower, and then the evaporation is what dissipates the heat. So anyways, that's just a quick explanation of what direct liquid cooling is.
Do people get a peek into the cooling system in the back of those racks?
Yeah, so that's also something new that we're showing. That's our rear door heat exchangers. So what they're, yeah, I'm glad that you asked about these because we haven't never showed these at a trade show before, but we got 2 of our rear door heat exchangers mounted to the back of these racks. And of course, we do have effective cooling, but there's still heat that remains to be captured. And managing heat is a very critical part of any sort of anyone who's doing IT. So different designs capturing depending on your needs, but it's part of an overall kind of suite of products because we're really able to take whatever the customer's request for a proposal is and build a custom solution that suits their deployment environment, that suits their application, et cetera. So rear door heat exchangers, as well as this something called the Sidecar cooling distribution unit, which basically converts liquid cooling solutions like that NVIDIA GB300 NVL72, which only supports direct liquid cooling.
What do you see on this TV here?
This is an actual Supermicro liquid cooling tower, and it's near our office in San Jose, California. And we have one because we have to test out our cooling solution, right? So that includes the facility side as well. And the only way to do that is, we literally have this on site, near our office, and it's actually it's in use. So
there's a bunch of tubes going in and out of the building.
There's a bunch of tubes going in and out of the building. But the main thing is the fact that it's circulating that coolant, that hot air, the hot coolant and then the cool coolant to ensure that you're effectively removing the heat from the hottest components, which are the CPU and GPU, as well as other components like the DIMMs.
And so there's more and more of these racks. So some of these are golden with the NVIDIA logos.
Yeah.
And some look like this.
Oh, this is our Sidecar cooling distribution unit. So that's to be paired with something like a GB300 NVL72 in situations where you want to use this, but your liquid cooled, your data center doesn't have liquid cooling infrastructure in it. So that's why you would use something like that.
So over there is like an NVIDIA system?
Yeah, this is a GB300 NVL72. It's a reference architecture from NVIDIA that you'll see a lot of different brands have designs for. The 72 represents the fact that it has 72 GPUs in a 72 GPU NVLink domain, connected each at 1.8 terabytes per second. With each GPU having 288 gigabytes of HBM3E. It's obviously a really big pool of GPU memory. So it's actually the highest performing solution possible for AI applications. It's very advanced in terms of using NVLink switches that are mounted here, and then compute trays, each with 4 Blackwell GPUs and 2 Grace CPUs. Rack-mounted power shelves, additional switching components, and in-rack cooling distribution unit. So it really has a lot.
There's a lot of demand for this?
Yes, there's definitely a lot of demand. It's used for a lot of kind of the bigger projects. I think that a lot of the customers that are interested in this sort of solution are ones that are able to really do things like the foundation model training. So they have the resources for that to be actually like worth it for them. So we definitely see demand for it, but we also still see demand for the HGX platform as well, which is based off of x86.
So you need one of these for each of those?
Yeah, essentially, at the moment, you do, because this pulls a lot of power. This is going to cover 200 kilowatts. This rack will go 130. So, yeah, you're going to need one for each at the moment. But I think that most people who deploy this are going to have a setup where they're utilizing an in-rack cooling distribution unit, and they have the liquid cooling tower on the facility.
Do you do megawatt racks?
Megawatt racks? Like, what do you mean?
No, I'm just joking a little bit. But they're talking about so much power in this show. More power in one rack, and you peak at what kind of power potentially? If people put as much computing they can into one
right
rack.
now, I mean, it keeps on going up. It depends on the data center, because some can support like higher power densities than others, whereas others might have to like rely on something. If they were to do an HGX rack with like an air cooling, maybe they could only put one of these in a rack. So at the moment, like something like this represents the highest power density. Yeah.
Can we go around? So in the front, you're doing you're doing presentations.
Yeah, we have
here
presentations
during the
from
show.
some of our partners.
What kind of presentations have been going on here?
A variety. So we have like software-defined storage partners. We have our chip partners like NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel. Supermicro has done some sessions on liquid cooling. We've had like 20 presentations, so it's been fun to kind of hear from people. Right now, there's no presentation that's going on, but we've had a really good interaction, and our partners have been able to explain to attendees why they've chosen to partner with Supermicro. So we do really appreciate that, and it's been a lot of fun.
Do you want to explain what's the market share that you have, or you cannot say? Oh, it's like, are you one of the market leaders, right?
Top. Yeah, I don't know the exact percentages. So,
one of the top.
Yeah.
And can people get stuff when they order, or they need to wait?
You know what I mean? Can get stuff. Yeah, they can get stuff. It depends on what you're ordering, of course, and like the scale of the project, what type of GPU is it. But we're shipping. Demand is high, but we can fill it. We're one of the top manufacturers that can quickly get you online when it comes to like deploying the latest technology. So
and demand is just going up. Yeah. But the whole world of supercomputing, AI, it's like more or less the same thing, right?
It's amazing, yeah. I mean, AI and supercomputing, HPC is like not to be outdone by AI, but AI has definitely been a huge catalyst for the growth of this industry. So it really is great to see, and Supermicro is right up there with all the other top. We're right in the top 2 in terms of server shipments related to both AI and HPC.
It's basically the Supermicro conference here, no?
I mean, I appreciate that. It is SC 2025, so Yeah, I mean, we could call it SM 2025 or something. But no, it's not. The supercomputing has always been a good host to us, so we're just happy to be part of the show.
Don't get fooled by fake HDMI products. Only source authentic HDMI products from licensed HDMI adopters and authorized manufacturers and
resellers to ensure compliance. Counterfeit or unlicensed products can cause poor performance.
Certified HDMI products undergo official testing for safety and spec compliance.
Avoid brand damage, warranty issues, and customer dissatisfaction from unlicensed products.
Long-term cost savings come from reliable, genuine HDMI solutions.
Unlicensed products may lack support and pose safety risks.
Use certified HDMI cables with official HDMI certification labels.
Report suspected counterfeit products at hdmi.org/resource/infringe.
Thanks to our global partners for helping keep the HDMI brand real and ensuring consumers get the experience they deserve.